Welcome back to Patriot Network TV. Today, we want to talk about the U.S. federal government and its effort to fight crime. And if I read this entire article out loud to you, you might think it's the plot for a new TV show. You might think, oh, I saw that on TV. That's the plot for Sons of Anarchy. They're running drugs and it turns out to be CIA guys. If I tell you that this is an operation run by the Drug Enforcement Administration where your employees that you pay, not only their wages, but their retirement and their benefits, are taking drug money and laundering it. If I tell you that that's what the New York Times has reported, you wouldn't believe me. But truth is always stranger than fiction. Not only do we have gun walker, gun runner, fast and furious. Not only do we have alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, the DOJ, and an assortment of top administration people attempting to restrict Second Amendment rights under the false theory that 90% of the guns in Mexico are from U.S. dealers, 90% of the guns they can identify because the overwhelming majority, millions of guns, have serial numbers acid etched off or ground off, and there's no way to identify them. And the few that they can identify that still have serial numbers are from, yes, U.S. dealers, but that represents a tiny, tiny fraction. The number that Secretary Clinton used was 90% of the guns come from America. And that's not the full sentence. The sentence is 90% of the guns, comma, with identifiable serial numbers come from America. And that represents 1 or 2% of the total amount of guns. But this story, and this is from our friends at the New York Times, hardly big fans of the Obama administration, hardly critics of the Obama administration. This is a December 3rd story, and the title is U.S. Agents Launder Mexican Profits for Drug Cartels. Now, tell me if you think this sounds just like Gun Runner. Gun Runner was, we're going to take the gun, sell it to the straw buyers, and then we can trace it. And the fact that they kill Border Agent Terry, well, it's just an unfortunate byproduct of this plan to identify how the guns run, walk, get to Mexico, okay? Tell me if this one sounds familiar. We want to know where the money's going, so we're going to launder it for the Mexican drug cartels so we know where it's going. And again, if you thought this was the plot for a TV show like Sons of Anarchy or some other, criminal enterprise story, I wouldn't blame you, because when I read this, I just went, oh my dear Lord, this can't be what these folks are doing. But it is. The Drug Enforcement Administration primarily is involved in an effort to launder drugs. I want to quote from this interview with DEA folks. They tell you you're bringing $250,000, that you will bring $250,000 and they will bring $1 million, one former agent said, other traffickers. What the agent's supposed to do then is tell them, no, we can't do it, they'll kill me. Well, the reality is they had to set a limit of $10 million, okay? The Justice Department approval to launder amounts greater than $10 million in a single operation was overruled. They said, no, 10 million is the upper limit. Now, I want you to, be straight on this. Understand what's going on. Your Drug Enforcement Administration, your Justice Department, Attorney General Holder, actively involved in laundering the drug money for Mexican drug cartels who have not just slaughtered people on the U.S.-Mexico border. And, if you go to Brownsville, if you go to San Diego, if you go to Juarez, if you go to any town on the border between Mexico and the United States and spend 20 minutes, do this online, go to all the major newspapers, spend 20 minutes looking for deaths, border deaths, and find out how many decapitations, how many dismemberments, how many people have been brutally murdered on the border by the drug cartel. But no problem, the U.S. federal government's going to launder the money for them so they can know where the money's going, okay? Now, they have set an upper limit of only 10 million at a time. That's what they're saying here. But beyond that, there is a slight problem. And of course, what would that problem be? Well, what's the problem in Gun Walker, Gun Runner, and Fast and Furious? Once the guns crossed the border into Mexico, what happened? We're stunned to find out we can't trace them. We can't control them. We don't know where they're at. And sooner or later, they end up in the hands of bad guys who shoot Border Patrol Agent Brian Terry dead. Now, you can look at that and say, oh, this is just a program gone horribly wrong, or you can say that since the buck should stop on Attorney General Holder's desk, or the person who appointed him, President Obama, that they colluded with Mexican drug cartels to murder a border enforcement agent by their incompetency. If you were Brian Terry's father or mother or nephews or nieces, you certainly would feel that the Obama administration and the Department of Justice had colluded with foreign enemies of the United States to kill your son, your uncle, whatever relationship you were to Brian Terry. And this money laundering scheme is exactly the same, because guess what? That money's going to go to buy what? Influence, arms, ammunition, and other bad things. So has the U.S. federal government learned from its mistake in Gun Walker, Gun Runner, Fast and Furious? No, not a thing. The DEA and the Justice Department are doing exactly the same thing. Now, if you'd like to follow this story, if you're saying to yourself, now, Terry, I just can't believe this. No one's that stupid. The story is bylined by Ginger Thomas. It's New York Times, December 3rd, 2011. I invite you to look into this. Our government not only colluded with Mexican drug thugs to give them guns, now they're laundering their money. This is unacceptable. This is going to hurt, kill, maim U.S. citizens. This must stop. To borrow the words of one of my favorite presidents, this shall not stand. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.